Tennessee WildCast is live on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. We are live here on Facebook, and we're at the Hiwassee Refuge in East Tennessee, Meigs County, and we're excited to be here. We got Sandhill Cranes behind us, and it's a pretty cool sight to see. And I got Miss Mimi Barnes here helping me co-host today.
I'm happy to be here as usual.
We're in Mimi's region, and she always is a gracious host and brings us in and finds us some guests and finds us people to talk to, and we're excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy for today. We have a great couple of guests with us today. Miss Nancy Williams from the Cherokee Removal Memorial is here with us first.
Yep, Miss Nancy Williams, Cherokee Removal Memorial, like you said. She's been heading that up for quite a while, right?
For 9 years. We opened in 2009, and the Cherokee Removal Park is a historical park. It tells the stories of the Cherokee removal from 1838. So it's a very significant area. The Cherokee, the Blythe Ferry area was the northwest boundary of the Cherokee Nation. So the significance for the park to be there is that the Cherokees were camped there from August to November of 1838, getting across the Tennessee River on their journey west to Oklahoma.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the whole area here is gorgeous. If folks haven't been here, we'd really encourage everyone to visit. I have the pleasure of working with Miss Nancy for the Sandhill Crane Festival every year. And we've worked together for how many years?
9 years.
All 9 years that you've been open.
Yes, yes. We've participated in the Sandhill Crane Festival even before the park was built. We participated. Some of our elders actually put up tents and came down there and welcomed people when they would make the circuit for the Sandhill Crane Festival. And so it's been going on for as many years as the festival itself has been going on. There have been people down there. They would put their tents up at our overlook area, which is a perfect bird watching area. So we have lots of people that come there for the bird watching. They actually didn't know we were there till they came here, and then they would come on over and visit us. But we get people from everywhere.
Yeah.
Georgia, Alabama. We've had people from England, from France, from Italy, from Germany. We have world travelers that come just for the history and for the bird watching.
So what are people going to run into when they come over to the area? Is there things set up for them to look at and learn about
yeah, we have a beautiful cabin with artifacts. We have history panels outside that tell the story of the removal. We have a monument that lists the names of the Cherokee from the 1835 census. That's all we had to go by when we created it. So we use that, and it lists the names of all the Cherokees, and it's a very, very moving experience.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It is. I said to Miss Nancy before, it's a solemn place of remembrance. It's a beautiful place, but it's also a place that celebrates the Cherokee Nation today. And you have a lot of different events throughout the year.
We do.
At the memorial.
In December, we had the chief from Oklahoma, Bill John Baker, came by for a visit and met people and just enjoyed visiting with people and being at the location, because this is such a significant part of the Trail of Tears. So it's,
And the Cherokee used the island, right? The Hiwassee Island?
they did. They had a settlement over there in the early 1800s. The group the last Cherokees on the island left in 1819.
So we partner with you, and if folks come to the Tennessee Sandhill Crane Festival, they can come out here to the refuge on the bus, and then the bus also stops at the Cherokee Removal Memorial. What What do you enjoy about the festival? What do you enjoy about that weekend?
It's just a great time to meet people and to talk with them, find out where they're from, what their interests are. People that don't realize we're there, as we participate in the festival, then we get new people every year that didn't realize we were there. We are located in a remote area, so to speak.
But it's such a beautiful area. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It is. It's a beautiful park. It's very well put together. The historians that were all part of the planning, all the information that's there, the architecture, it's beautiful. They tell the story of the removal so beautifully.
They do.
It is a very, very nice place to visit.
Well, tell folks how they can find it. Highway 60, right?
Highway 60. Out of Birchwood, come Highway 60. We are Shadden Lane. There are big signs there.
I've seen the signs coming in this morning.
Yes, we did get some signs thanks to the state. And so you just follow the road all the way back down to the river. Once you turn on Shadden Lane, just follow it all the way to the river.
And you have a Facebook page too. Maybe
Yes,
we
we
can
have
link to
Facebook.
That.
Yes.
So they have a Facebook page too that folks can follow. And so the weekend of the Crane Festival, you'll have some Native Americans that come out and share more of their heritage.
Yes.
We have birding scopes set up at the Overlook with volunteers, and we'll keep a birding list and a species list of all the different species that are being seen, because it's not just sandhill cranes, white pelicans, golden eagles, at times bald eagles for sure, typically this time of year, and many different types of waterfowl.
Yes, a lady came in Saturday and said that she had just seen a bald eagle from our overlook. So, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Fairly common, though. I said I've sat on the porch for a meeting with Miss Nancy, and we watched a bald eagle flying around before. So a meeting. It was a good meeting.
It was a good meeting.
Was there food involved?
Probably.
The bald eagle attended. Hey, doesn't get any better.
But yeah, we're so grateful for you joining us today. We're so grateful for your knowledge, and you give so much to that place out there, Miss Nancy.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you all having us here and talking about the Cherokee Removal Park. It's great to let people know about the heritage and the history of the area. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to transition and have Mr. David Hanni come in. He's our statewide bird conservation coordinator. And if I'm distracted at all, it's because the sandhills are coming up here behind us and checking us out, wanting to be on the show. But it's amazing to watch them. There they go flying off. I don't know if I can get a wide shot of that, but it's pretty crazy to see these birds and watch them, and it's just fun to be here.
It is. So the slough behind us is a place where they'll roost for the night, and it's one of the reasons that they really utilize everything on the Hiwassee, all the area along the Hiwassee.
Yeah. Well, David, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, of course. It's great here with y'all on the cranes.
David, like I said, he's our bird conservation coordinator. I'll make sure I get that right. We were joking around about titles earlier. But anyway, David, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do for the agency, and how you came to the state of Tennessee to work for us.
Yeah, well, I've been here about 3.5 years now. I came from Colorado, where I worked as a science director it was Rocky Mountain Bird Observatory, and now it's changed to Bird Conservancy of the Rockies. And I worked there, and that's an NGO for about 15 years. And what I mainly did there was design bird population monitoring programs at large spatial scales. So we had, about 13 states involved in the coordinated monitoring effort in the West. So it's throughout the Rocky Mountains and a little bit west.
I bet that was a cool experience.
Yeah, it was fun being out there and really getting a handle on and being able to use that information to make management decisions on the ground.
Wow.
And then coming to the agency, I've been here about 3.5 years and just trying to get things started and keep everything going.
Where'd you grow up? Did you grow up hunting and fishing, or just bird watching, or what was your
No,
what's your
actually,
background?
my story is I used to go hunting with my stepdad, and so we went out and we used to go duck hunting quite a bit.
Cool.
You get up early in the morning, you're out there, and sometimes there's nothing around to shoot at, and so
that happens a lot here in Tennessee.
So you end up, just looking at birds, and that's how I really got into it.
Love
really
birds happen that way. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Well, we're glad to have you in Tennessee, and you do a great job for us. And
Yeah, it's great to be
There's
here.
just one of you. I said it blows me in my mind so often to think there's one of you that deals with all these non-game birds across the state and even the Sandhill Crane. I know you're involved in those numbers as well, but one of you.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a big job.
Yeah, and so we have what's called a state wildlife action plan, and that's really, how we determine which species we're going to work with. Each state has one of those, and we get additional funding through the state wildlife action plan. And so, I think we have, about close to 90 bird species on that list that I'm responsible for trying to conserve.
yeah, how often is that updated, or does that plan? When was that set, and how does that plan change over time, or does it change?
Well, we just did it in 2015, so the next one will be in 2025, I guess.
Okay, so it's reevaluated, look at it,
years.
and those birds may change on that list.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
So right now, what are some of the birds that you're looking at? What's some of the studies that you're involved with right now?
Some of the projects I have going on in this area right now, we've been doing colonial waterbird surveys where we're looking at double-crested cormorants and
Hot
and associated species. So we're trying to do a statewide inventory, of all the colonial waterbirds that we have in the state. This past year, we've really been interested in the secretive marsh birds and what's going on with them. So like the rails, birds that are hard to detect. And so what we did for that was put out audio recording units here on Hiwassee.
Oh, wow.
And so we recorded for weeks on end. I think we have about 2 weeks of recordings, and then we take that information, use some software, and it helps us determine, the different bird species that are here. And so,
Fascinating.
Wow.
we're really looking for king rail, which is, one of the species of greatest conservation need for us, and then yellow rail as well.
So I know we'll get some questions about the double-crested cormorant. What have you studied, and what have the studies revealed so far about this bird?
Well, we've basically been looking at distribution of the bird in the state, and historically, I looked at information from the 1930s, and they were only detected at Reelfoot Lake, and so they were only using that area. But now, since the 90s, it's really started to expand throughout the state, and we really have them, all over up the Tennessee River, and they've really started to expand exponentially throughout the state.
And that's what you're determining right now, maybe a management plan or?
Yeah, and we're trying to determine how that's affecting other species like the black-crowned night heron, which is a species of greatest conservation need. And then also, just looking at how they're expanding throughout the state.
Okay, all right.
And then there's a lot of partnerships that go on with all this too. What are important about the partnerships in your research?
Oh, we definitely have to rely on partners with, just me trying to team up. And so it's really important. We work with all the different states. We'll go to Mississippi Flyway meetings, where we work with all the different states in the region. We go to different joint venture management boards where we participate and work with them to help design, large-scale monitoring programs and really try and determine, how we can use management on our wildlife management areas to affect the bird populations. We also have to partner with the universities to get some of the research done. And that's really, one of the main people that we have to rely on to help get some of this work done.
Yeah.
I know we utilize our universities quite a bit.
In
students
many capacities. So one of the birds, when David and I were chatting last week, one of the birds that you brought up to me was the golden winged warbler.
Yeah.
This little tiny songbird.
It is a tiny songbird.
What's the importance of the golden winged warbler?
Well, the golden winged warbler is in decline, especially in the southern Appalachian Mountains. And so the University of Tennessee, Dr. Bueller, and his graduate students have put geolocators on some of the birds. And with these geolocators, you're able to track where the birds go. And so you put them on during the breeding season, then they go spend the winter on their winter grounds and come back. So you have to recapture the bird. But then with that information, you're able to determine where those birds are going. And so we found out, University of Tennessee found out that those birds are going down into Colombia and Venezuela.
Wow.
And so, we're only responsible for some of these birds, a lot of the migratory birds, for a portion of their annual, life cycle. So
And they're coming here to breed.
right.
That's what's amazing. So when you talk about partnerships, birds don't know state boundaries like all wildlife, but they're really far-reaching at times. So those partnerships mean a lot even outside the state of Tennessee. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What's the importance? Someone will say, well, what's the importance of a golden wing warbler?
Well, I mean, they're very important. I mean, all the birds that we see, play a role in the environment and the different niches that they occur
Yeah.
in.
I always try and tell folks that, we talk about game species a lot, obviously, but we're charged with the care of all of Tennessee's wildlife, and the State Wildlife Action Plan really reflects that and really helps guide and shows the importance of some of these birds that someone might not have heard of, like the golden wing warbler. I encourage folks to look it up. It's a really beautiful little warbler.
It is a pretty little bird.
So one of the bigger birds that I've talked to David about and watched some of the research is the golden eagle study. And that's one that's been a little bit more publicized because, I mean, come on, it's a it's a golden eagle. It's such a huge bird. So tell us a little bit about that program.
So that project's been going on for quite a while now, and we've been putting satellite transmitters on birds and trying to determine their migratory pathways and where they're going to breed. And so a lot of these birds have been captured down at Bear Hollow, Cherokee. Then we also had one at Sequatchie, which is the Prentice Cooper WMA, and that's the most recent one that we've put a satellite transmitter on. And we're just trying to figure out where these birds go, and the majority of them were going up into Quebec to breed.
Wow.
But when we put this, and so we thought we have it all figured out, and we knew where the birds were going and everything. And then we put a transmitter on the Sequatchie, which went up into Ontario.
Wow.
And so, now we're taking all these data. I think Sequatchie and one other bird out at that we banded at Bear Hollow still have transmitters, and we're still getting data back from them. But we're going to use this information to develop a publication where we're going to come up with best management practices for this bird during the winter.
So when people contact us throughout the year, and it's summertime, and they're saying they're seeing a golden eagle, what do you know?
They're probably not around here during the summer.
Yeah, so they're coming down here during winter months.
Yes.
And then they're going up north for their breeding. Okay.
Aren't there ways for folks to track those birds that are transmitted? They have the transmitters on. Can they see the path that those
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we can determine the location. I think it's every 15 minutes.
But isn't there a link on our website that folks can go to if they want to?
Oh,
that
yeah,
path?
yeah. So on our the Watchable Wildlife page,
Yeah.
I try to keep that updated on the migratory paths of these birds and
It's pretty
where
fascinating.
they're spending the summers. And
So you
and
can see where
winters.
they're going.
Right,
That's
it
pretty
is really
cool.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if folks go to tnwildlife.org and they just put that bird, golden eagle, in the search engine, they're
should
going to
come
come
right
to
up.
that information because it is fascinating to follow.
So let's talk about the bald eagle. Said we'll start getting phone calls about the bald eagle pretty soon.
Yeah, we're still interested in those. I mean, Bob Hatcher did a great job in bringing those back to Tennessee. I mean, now we have over 200 nesting pairs in the state. So
Wow, that's amazing. So do you care about sightings? Or?
I do.
Okay, so you want to know about sightings, or do you want to know about nesting?
Mainly
sites?
nest locations.
Okay.
I do get a lot of sighting information, but what we're really trying to track in Tennessee is the number of nests
Okay.
and the nest locations, so we can monitor those over time.
So if someone sees a nest being built, or it's a new nest, and they know it's a new nest around their home, they can reach out to
Yeah,
one
I'd
of their
love to have
regional
that
offices.
information and put it in the database.
So again, tnwildlife.org, scroll to the bottom, and there's contact information, and folks can find their regional office and call in, or they could call the main Nashville office. All right, that's great information, David. Thank you. So we're here at the Hiwassee Refuge. We're getting ready to talk about the Sandhill Crane Festival. What's the importance of these refuges when it comes to all these different birds you study, from that little tiny golden wing warbler up to the golden eagle?
Well, these areas just give the birds a place to rest peacefully and feed up and get ready for their migration back to where they're going. So it really just serves as an area for them to rest, relax, and enjoy the winter, I guess.
Yeah, so just that, a refuge.
You were talking earlier about the other birds who they're going all the way to those other countries. Where are these Sandhill cranes coming from and where they're going?
Yeah, so this is the eastern population of sandhill cranes, and basically these birds will go up and breed around the Great Lakes,
Okay.
and then come down here about this time. And I guess there's not as many here as it's kind of warmed up here a little bit recently, but the high count, I think, on December 15th was around 13,000 birds that were down in this area.
Wow.
And so that's how we really track and try and figure out, what the population is by doing these counts. And so we do those counts every couple of weeks.
So we can see a few that haven't left. They roost overnight, and they need a certain depth of water to stay in for safety, or?
That's correct, and then they'll keep their eyes towards the land to make sure that they don't get approached.
Oh, really interesting.
They're safe on the water and not so safe from land.
So this area, the refuge, there is a viewing area that folks can drive to at any portion of the year, but we do open it up a little bit more for the Sandhill Crane Festival.
Yeah, we're right here on the Hiwassee Refuge. The viewing tower is just to my left here, and you can come here just about any time and watch these birds or watch any other types of birds that might be here and see them. But yeah, during the Crane Festival, we've got this opened up. People can come down here where we're standing, and spotting scopes are set up and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, we'll have volunteers not only at the Cherokee Removal Memorial, but here at the Hiwassee Refuge. The local ornithological society, and a lot of great information folks are willing to share with the public that visits.
If folks are interested in finding more about just bird watching in general, they can go to our website. We've mentioned that. And then
Yeah, definitely go to the website, and then we also have the Tennessee Birding Trail that shows all the different locations of places that you can go birding in Tennessee, and it'll give you a description of the site, what you can expect to see at that site location. And so it's a really useful tool to even give you directions right on your phone just to get to that site. And so
what's the web address for that? Do you got that right off the top
this,
of your head?
TennesseeBirdingTrail.org.
Okay.
TN Birding Trail.
TN Birding Trail.
TN, yeah. We say Tennessee like TNBirdingTrail.org.
I got your back.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's the same with our website, with tnwildlife.org.
Yeah.
That Birding Trail website's really interesting because anybody from the general public can add their sightings. So if they're seeing something really unique, it's going to be on that page, correct?
Well, it's attached to eBird, and so we're using eBird to keep track of all the detection information.
Right.
So
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, you want to transition to what's going to be happening around this area. We got about 5 minutes left before the show's over, and this is the site for the Sandhill Crane Festival, and all the viewing will happen here. So let's fill us in on what's going to be happening right here.
Well, the Sandhill Crane Festival is coming up on the 18th and 19th, that Saturday and Sunday, and we're really based out of the Birchwood School. Everyone knows the Birchwood School as the old school there in town.
Right off Highway 60.
Right off Highway 60, and there are vendors set up there. Miss Linda and BASIC, the Birchwood Area Society Improvement Council, provide food in the cafeteria and coffee. Folks come in cold from bird watching and grab something warm and warm up there. Vendors will be there with various bird watching paraphernalia to sell, and then we'll be there. TWRA and TVA joins us. They're a big partner for us in many ways. And then I should go back and say the whole weekend is funded by Olin. They've been so gracious year after year in providing funding, not only to bring in a speaker, which is Jamie Fedderson from our office again. He'll be joining us to talk about this bird in detail so folks can really learn the natural history of the bird. But then we also bring in great entertainment like the American Eagle Foundation.
Oh, great.
And every year they join us with their live birds.
The Raptor Show, that's always
my gosh.
the one people want to see.
It is a highlight. So you'll see a big rush on the buses. So the school's set up in that way with some live entertainment. Second Nature, a band out of Nashville.
A great band out of
I
Nashville.
know, our beloved, many beloved former employees and current employees with TWRA. We just love them for the work they do and their willingness to join us every year at the festival. Speakers and then the American Eagle Foundation is there on both days. But along with that, they can catch the bus to visit Miss Nancy at the Cherokee Removal Memorial, and it is a beautiful, beautiful location for many reasons. To learn the history of the Cherokee peoples, and then also it is just beautiful naturally. So we'll have volunteers with birding scopes there, and then the bus also comes here to the refuge. you can't drive straight out here.
Yeah.
It's a refuge for a reason, and we
Right.
could never open it up to that many cars. And we've had thousands and thousands of visitors during that weekend. Lively time. but
So
fun.
just so people are clear, the parking that's here for the viewing tower is not open during that time.
It is.
All the parking is out at the school.
Yes, everybody needs to come straight to the school, and there are free buses. It's a free event, 100% free, and so the buses will actually take them to the Removal Memorial, and the buses will come here to the refuge.
Okay. And then, yeah, so if you're going to come out here during the week before the festival or afterwards, you can always come up here to the tower and park here and see the
Yes.
birds. But during that time, make sure you go by the school and check out the events that's happening there and
Yes.
all kinds of good stuff going on that week.
Yeah,
that weekend.
The American Eagle Foundation is always a highlight for us. They tend to bring a couple bald eagles with them. They fly a few birds. I'm not going to say what kind. It's not the bald eagle, but they fly a few birds right over the crowd. It is. They're just the oohs and ahs of that day are so much fun.
Yeah. And I don't know if you mentioned the Tennessee Ornithological Society. They're going to be with us this year.
The Chattanooga chapter is coming up to help us set up scopes, and we have some other volunteers that come and set up scopes. They actually will keep species lists at both locations, the Cherokee Removal Memorial and here at the refuge. And we watch. It's fun to watch that species count go up each year, and it's fun. The two locations tend to have a little bit of a competition going to see who sees the most species. So we talk about sandhill cranes, and it is the Sandhill Crane Festival, but we always see bald eagles that weekend. There, because it's a refuge and the water's behind us, we see countless types of waterfowl too.
Whooping cranes. We see a lot of those, seems like.
Yeah,
At least one or two.
Yeah, the endangered whooping crane makes an appearance typically at least once during the weekend, and we'll have scopes set up for visitors. That if you don't own binoculars, it doesn't matter. There'll be scopes here and many volunteers to help you identify birds.
Awesome. Anything you want to add before we get out of here, David?
Yeah, just a last call for citizen science. I forgot to add looking for locations. We have a project on the loggerhead shrike, and what that bird is, it's a passerine bird, but it acts more like a raptor, and so we're looking for any types of sightings. They look similar to a mockingbird, but what's really interesting about them is they'll take their prey and impale it on barbed wire or some sort of thorn, and I'm just looking for any types of sightings, and they can just email me.
So they're going to be seen maybe on fence rows, things like that in
Yeah,
fields?
old fields, yeah.
Can folks find more information at tnwildlife.org on that
We'll
bird?
make it available.
Oh, great.
All right.
awesome.
Well, there, you heard it here. So, David, I thank you for being with us today.
thank you.
Mimi, thanks for co-hosting.
Pleasure.
Thanks to Nancy for being on at the beginning of the show. And if you want to learn more about wildlife, tnwildlife.org is a great place to do it. So, and come out and see the Crane Festival.
Yeah,
Be a part of
please
that.
Come on out. It's such a fun weekend. I look forward to it. We're gearing up.
Rattle off those dates.
January 18th and 19th.
18th and 19th. So we'll see you then, hopefully. And just a reminder, real quick, the Tennessee On The Go mobile app is available. Make sure you check that out at the App Store or Google Play Store. A lot of new features, great new design, and it should be more user-friendly for the hunter and the angler and the bird watcher. So go check it out. Well, I guess that's all we got today.
Yeah, thanks,
great.
Jason.
Thank y'all for tuning
Thanks,
in.
David.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank y'all for being a part of the show, and we'll see y'all next time right here on Tennessee WildCast.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.